Action. Hey, welcome back to the Real Estate Excellence Podcast. Today I have a great returning super agent to the show. A great show for the first of 2025 to kick it off. If you are an agent who does not know what you are doing or going to do differently this year for success, or you're a new agent, this is an episode for you. Real estate didn't just happen for him. If you listen to his original podcast last year, episode 170, he has put together a rubber meets the road plan for new agents or agents who just need something different to move the needle here in 2025. Need a fresh start, new tactics. Let's welcome from Real Broker Rick Gonzalez to the show.
Man, I appreciate you having me back. It's we had a lot of fun last time,
Yeah.
and got some new ideas, and just I appreciate you having me back so we can chat about it and share them, and hopefully,
I got to start off and ask you about that T-shirt you're wearing. Though you always have a good T-shirt on. What's Real done?
yeah.
You part
So
of a particular group there?
yeah, so this will be almost 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Sharon, if the listeners don't know, Sharon Travaza, he's the president of Real, and a good friend of mine, coach. But he reached out. He lives in California, and he's a big supporter of the military out there, the Navy. Knew that I was a Navy veteran, and he reached out to me and a couple other veteran agents at Real and said, "Hey, I want to start a military division within Real so we can train you guys up better than just taking the MRP class."
Mm-hmm.
And have a group of agents around the country that can really make sure we're taking care of our active duty military and our veteran clients to a higher level that they deserve. And so that's what Real Military is.
Excellent. I love the shirt. Great there. Now, Rick, you sent me this email. You contacted me early, well, I don't know, it's early December. I think it was somewhere around there. You've got some changes going on in your life. You're going to be moving out to Colorado here soon. So we have a situation where we have this experienced agent has reached top levels, very respected in the Panhandle and throughout Florida. Are you coming to our RE bar camp here on the 17th here in Northeast Florida?
I am, yeah. It's actually the first year in a while that I'm not going to be um,
Yeah, I know
a
what you mean.
facilitator. I think
Facilitator.
I'll just, yeah, I won't be a facilitator. I'll just be there to enjoy it. So I think the last 3 years I've been a facilitator there, but yeah, I will be there for sure.
Excellent. Well, I do know this. Real is growing here in Jacksonville quite rapidly. They've got a core group here that is pretty excited, and they are doing activities together. Even though they're all they're all out there on their own. There's only one person I know that has a small office, but they're growing here pretty rapidly. And I know a lot of agents here this fall for some reason all of a sudden just a growth in Real. In Northeast
Yeah.
Florida is gone. So, but Rick, you're going to be moving to Colorado. So hopefully you tell us a little bit about that and what's going on there. But you have sat down this fall and said, "Hey, if I had to start my business all over again, what would I do?" And was that really the premise of what we're going to talk about today?
Yeah, like I said, we've decided we've been talking about it for a couple of years, moving to Colorado, and finally decided to actually pull the trigger. So we're actually flying Saturday to Denver to go house hunting. Um, but with that in my mind, I started thinking, the nice part of staying where I am is the comfort and consistency of business. I've been
Yeah.
been here in my house now for 8 years, been in this market for 15. So I've got a lot of easy business, right? Like I could wake up and trip over, 15 deals a year. And so there's a lazy comfort about that, right? So I had to ask myself, do I really want to move and start over? And when I decided yes, I had to figure out what does start over look like. Because when I moved here 8 years ago, it did take a little while. It was where I was just starting to do video with Facebook Live and community, like business interviews, interview the mayor, interview the restaurants, that kind of stuff. So all of that digital mayor stuff was kind of new, and it took a while. So I started thinking like, okay, with everything I've learned over the last 10 to 15 years, how can I fast track that? What can I do in addition to that to make sure that I'm creating more content, that I'm doing it without spending a high budget, but I want to learn and absorb as much community information, market information as possible, and at the same time create a bunch of content to get my name and my brand out there.
Right. Because I think you would agree, if you are just on the content producing, I want to, be known on Instagram or be known on YouTube. That's a that's not an instant gratification thing. You don't do a video and then sit back and all of a sudden your phone rings. It's kind of the thing that should be going on in the background in a for a long term play.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. And I think one of the things that a lot of newer agents struggle with. Let me close this. Is how do I create enough content that I can post once a day or once a week consistently, to get the brand and my name and my image out there. That consistency is always a friction, right? It's always a barrier. I don't know what to post. I don't have any listings. Me going up there, like right now, I primarily do listings. But going to a brand new market where nobody knows me, I'm sure I'm going to go back to being a buyer's agent for a while.
Yeah.
And so without having listings, like how do I generate enough content in addition to the community stuff? I can go and I can interview the coffee shop. I can do stories. I can do all the easy stuff. But how do I get the real estate content? And not knowing how to do that, I think will definitely slow the process down. So early on in my real estate career, the people that were helping, teach me, I was always told and always believed that you have to learn the market itself. You got to go out and you got to see homes and neighborhoods and condos. You actually got to go and see them in person. You can't sit behind the desk and look at the MLS all day. You need to create content, right? And then you need to get your professional education up. You got to go take classes. So in 15 years, I think I've got the education part down, right? But now I'm going to need to learn a whole new market, and I'm going to need to create a bunch of content because right now everybody knows me as the mayor of Freeport. And now, even though I'm still going to be working in Freeport when I leave, I'm going to maintain my presence here. I now have to be known for Castle Rock, Colorado.
Right.
So how do I do that, and how do I do that quickly?
Would you One of the fringe benefits, and I think one of those things that's in the background, having spoken to several hundred agents, the word confidence comes up, and you're moving into a new market, or you're a new real estate agent listening to this right now, or an agent has just been trudging along and just doesn't know why they're going. Do you know where all the condos are? Do you know where the VA approved condos are? When someone mentions a particular subdivision, do you know where it is? Or what size homes are in that particular subdivision? When you have that, you gaining a confidence. So when a customer, a buyer, for example, is saying, "Hey, I want this type of home or whatever," you immediately are clicking, going off in your head. Oh, I know all these different neighborhoods. I got to go see because they match what this person is looking for, which therefore gives you confidence and makes you look more professional.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's one of those things too where, we always talk about the riches are in the niches, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
very cliche. It's been said a lot, but there's a lot of truth to that. And I think some people in my position would say, "Oh, I'm going to be the new guy in Denver." Denver's a big city. it's very hard. It's very hard to learn Denver quickly. But if I'm okay niching down to Castle Rock and maybe even further down to the neighborhood I'm going to be living in, um, yes, I may lose somebody who's looking to buy in Aurora, but if I can become known for Castle Rock, if I know where all the coffee shops are, if I know who the builders are that are building new construction, if I know the agents of the builders who are out there, if I start to build that presence just in one location, then it's easy. I can be known as the Castle Rock, Colorado guy, and someone may not exactly know where Castle Rock is, but they know it's in Colorado. So that, hey, we're moving to Colorado Springs. Can you help me?
Hmm.
Maybe I can get a referral. Maybe I drive 45 minutes and still help them. But at least I'm being known. And when someone asks me a question, you can know almost everything about that small area pretty quickly.
All right, you gave me some things to a list of things that your plan, so to speak, your outline. Anyway, um, we talked a little bit about pre-show and the term open houses, and everyone, when you say that word, I'm sure everyone just heard it across now or whenever you listen to this podcast. You're like, oh yeah, open houses. But you have a plan with your open houses and how you are going to fit it into what we were just talking about.
Yeah, well, so open houses, the way I'm doing them now this way, and I'm planning on doing it. I'm kind of practicing now, so when I get to Colorado, I can hit the ground running. Is not open houses traditionally. First of all, they're not my listings, um, but they're also not my open houses. So my plan again is to try to, in 2 to 3 days a week, learn enough about new properties, learn realtors in the market, because you and I both know that if you have relationships with other local realtors, the transactions are just that much easier. And then also create enough content to be known in this area. So the plan is very simple. I call it my Ohana strategy, and it's open house agent network opportunity, Ohana. So once, twice, 3 times a week, and I'm doing it today, I'm going to sit down with the MLS and I'm going to find out which homes have open houses that day or tomorrow. And you want to be selective, find homes that are the types of homes that you want to be known for. So whether it's a price point, whether it's a neighborhood, whether it's a type of home, find open houses that are going to be your kind of market. Go to the open house. And so, one, you're there. So you're physically learning that house. Ask the agent, who's the builder? What can you tell me about the neighborhood? They're there to sell the property. So ask them the information. Learn all about the house, learn about the neighborhood, learn about if there's an HOA, where's the school? What can you tell me about this? Ask all the questions. So there's me meeting the agent and learning about the property. So check 2 boxes. Now I'm going to ask them, hey, are you okay if I do a quick walkthrough video of the open house? I would say 75, 80% of the time, they're going to say yes. So then are you familiar with Roland Osage out in the Bay Area?
No.
Okay. He's a friend of mine, works in San Francisco Bay Area, and he does these amazing walkthrough videos that are vertical, just using your phone. He doesn't use a gimbal or anything. And if you go to my TikTok account, or you can find his TikTok, his videos are better. But I just started doing these types of videos myself, where again, no microphone, no gimbal, no fancy equipment, just your phone. You walk through the house like you're doing a showing for a client. It's not anything cinematic, it's informational.
Hmm.
So you're looking at, the materials. Ooh, look at this light fissure. Oh, I really like the way they did this. And you're going to do a long form walkthrough video for TikTok. And I'm talking about
I
like
like the
8 minutes.
standpoint of almost as if you have a client, let's say a veteran, an active duty military that's not there, but you've got to
Mhm.
walk through this house and show it to them.
Yeah,
That's
and I
great.
don't I don't use that as a guise to get the video. I don't say, "Hey, I've got an out of town client," because I don't want to, start our relationship off with a lie.
Right.
But I just ask them. But the video is for, yeah, I can put it on TikTok, and someone who is maybe interested in Colorado, instead of having these flashy 30-second speed ramp overproduced videos, this is a nice slow walk through the house so they actually see what the house is like. But we don't worry about the audio. We're going to do a voiceover when we get back to the office. Okay.
Ah,
So I do the walkthrough, but again,
turn
this
the
is
audio
long.
off.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that way I can talk to the other agent. Sometimes I'll talk to myself, and I'll do like reminders, like, hey, make sure to mention this, or hey, when you get back to the office, research this builder about this thing that I saw. It gives you the time to come back home, do a little bit of research, have the MLS sheet up. So as I'm doing the voiceover, I can speak intelligently about the property rather than walk through. Because most agents right now, when they go to an open house or they go to a showing, the buyer knows more than they do because they haven't researched the house. They just show up with the MLS sheet and that's all they have. So I want to try to provide a little bit more than that. So you do the walkthrough video. At this point, and to the agents listening, if you're hosting open houses right now, they're probably not as busy as you would like them to be. I know when I've been going out and visiting agents in my market, a lot of times I'm the only one showing up. So the agent's pretty happy to see me because they get some attention. But now I'm also going to do a video for them and I'm going to tag them in the video when I put it on social. So now they're like, wow, this Rick guy's pretty cool. He showed up. He's helping me, market the listing. He's going to tag me. So then I ask him like, hey, if video is something you're interested in, do you want to do a video with me? Like I'll just set the camera up and I'll interview you real quick. So that's when I'll break out my little, where'd I put it? Got it somewhere. But I break out my little mic.
Yeah.
And I'll set the camera up and I'll just do an interview style. Like, hey, we're over here in Meadows neighborhood and I'm standing here. Tracy, he's the listing agent. Tracy, what can you tell me about the home? And then I'll just go back and forth and interview them for a couple of minutes.
Right.
I'll let them know that I'm going to send it to my editor. And when it's finished, I'm going to post it and I'll add them as a collaborator. Okay. So now I've got 2 pieces of content in addition to a new friendship with this agent, right? Now imagine if I do this 3 to 4 times a day for 2 days, just 2 days. And I can tell you to do the voiceover in CapCut takes 10 minutes, 15 minutes, maybe. Do a little bit of research, maybe go through it once, but 15 minutes and you've done your voiceover. So I can go out into the market. I can visit, we'll say 8 homes in 2 days. I can meet 8 new agents in 2 days. And if I go to 8 properties and I shoot 2 videos, that's 16 videos I've shot in 2 days with very little editing, with no monetary expense except for my time and my gas. And now I post those once a day for the entire week. I got a video a day going out on TikTok. TikTok, because of how aggressive the algorithm is, there's lots of attention, lots of eyeballs on TikTok. But then if you are savvy enough and you want to edit it yourself, or I have an editor that I use, I'll send it to him and I'll say, hey, can you edit this for YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, whatever, what other platforms we can get this on? Let's edit it for those platforms. Now I've got content for those other platforms as well.
Yeah.
But I think if I can do that twice a week, that still leaves me plenty of time to go to classes at the MLS, go to other events, go do my community stuff, right? Go talk to the owner of the coffee shop and interview him. It still gives me time to do normal real estate activities. If I just take 2 days a week to focus on this Ohana strategy, I can quickly build a resume of videos in my market, build relationships with agents in my market, and really get my name and presence out there at a rate that a lot of agents can't keep up with.
Let's talk a little bit about the importance of the agent relationship. And one thing I think is, we haven't mentioned here, but the real value of going into one of those open houses and you're the only one that's showing up. You've got this agent, and if you're new to the area or you're just new to real estate, you have this agent who may or may not be experienced. You want to feel that out. Who is this person? I mean, I would pull up LinkedIn while you're you're checking them out. Who am I going to see here, or who is in front of me? Is this person someone with experience? But especially if you're moving to a new area or this is a new subdivision, whatever, you're going from Freeport, Florida, where obviously insurance, the beaches, hurricanes, those are the things that people are, you're focused on, to Colorado. And it's a different style of living out there. Why are people moving there? You want to learn all these things, all the different reasons why people are moving there, the challenges of home ownership there, obviously, shoveling snow and ice, and you want to know all that just the same way you're currently doing in Freeport. When someone from Minnesota, calls up and says they want to look at a house there, they don't, the difference between living in Minnesota and living in Freeport, Florida is completely different. And
Yeah.
to get with those relationships, to start relationships with those agents, to tell you the little the little secrets about that condo complex, the little little things that you need to know, the little nuggets that just make you sound so much better and obviously give you confidence, that maybe not everybody knows. If you've got that right person that's willing to divulge those kind of tips to you.
Well, and I think it's not only that you're finding out things that maybe some other people don't know, but as there is, I hit 4 open houses and have conversations with 4 realtors, new or experienced. Even with the new ones, they're still more experienced than I am because I'm just getting there.
Right.
So even with the new ones, I can still learn. But in 4 conversations twice a day, I can have 8 pretty intentional conversations about specific house types, specific markets, specific builders that if I'm just researching by Googling or I mean, it's going to take a while. And let's be honest, it's nowhere near as fun as going out and meeting new people. And we know that real estate is a people business, bottom line. The more people that you know and the more people that know you, whether they're in real estate, in title, in insurance, in mortgage, the easier this business is. My go-to lender makes my life easy because we've had a relationship for, going on 8+ years. I can text her and get quotes very quickly. It's a relationship thing. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, yeah, I think going out, and I'll be honest, and I have to kind of give credit here. There's a local broker, Nick Brown. He's the broker with Coldwell Banker here in Niceville, which is next county over for me. But going out to these open houses started from seeing him. He is an amazing broker for his agents. And on his days off, on the weekend, he will travel and visit all of his agents at their open houses that weekend and talk about them online. Like, hey, go visit Courtney at this house. And I was like, man, I don't see anybody else doing this. And his agents love him for it. And so I was like, man, you see I guess the lack of attention that some agents are getting from their team or from their broker. And I thought, man, this would be an easy way to meet people and build some relationships because nobody else is going out and visiting them.
Right.
So instead of just focusing on visiting real agents, I'm just going to go out and visit everybody.
I think the underlying all the top agents say they're all collaborative. They don't see other agents as competitors. But I can see a lot of agents going, "Oh, I'm not going to go over and promote that person's listing." It's like, well, your circle of people watching on your social media is much different than their circle. You may overlap in some areas because you're in the real estate industry, but that overlap is people in the real estate industry. They already got representation. But you showing that house, even though it's someone else's listing, still is keeping you top of mind in your circle of people that are watching you on there, that they're going to call you and say, hey, Rick, I saw you at that house. Can you show me that house? They're not going to skip you and go over you to go directly to the listing agent that they don't know.
Well, and if it happens, it's probably going to happen once, right? It's not going to be an abundance of people skipping over you. But what I can tell is that there's been people who have reached out to me and said, hey, Rick, we're looking to buy a house in this area. Can you help us? And I'll be honest with them. I'm like, hey, look, that's like a city that I don't really know. Let me refer you to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes the agents that I refer business to, they're like, hey, dude, like, are you sure you want to refer this? Like, it's only 30 minutes for you. And I'm like, yeah, it's 30 minutes, but I don't know the market, so I can't help them the way you can. So, I want to refer it. I always try to do the right thing for the client. And sometimes that's another agent. Sometimes I'm not the cup of tea for everybody, right? Sometimes they want somebody else. And I think by fostering that goodwill of, hey, let me introduce you to my audience and interview them without any expectation. I'm not afraid of competition. I know that all of this is going to make me better. And if you can learn something from me, let's make you better along the way too. And I think that all benefits the client. So yeah, I really feel like it's just like a little bit of a cheat code. You've got this checklist of things that you need to learn quickly when you get into a new market. So without taking up your entire week, your entire day, or your entire budget, how can we do that quickly? Get you back to doing regular real estate activities, but have those videos go out every single day, and have agents, when you do call and say, hey, Tracy, I got an offer coming on your listing that we saw the other day, having at least the beginning of a relationship. Oh yeah, I remember you did the video. Sweet. Let's do this. I know that's going to make things a lot easier off the get-go.
Well, I think we could sit down here and list. I mean, a number of reasons, especially moving into a new market, to get out and meet the other agents. And the other thing, besides what I just mentioned, to find out the little things that aren't necessarily posted on a MLS, or why people were moving to that area, the different type of people were moving that area, the little idiosyncrasies of a particular neighborhood or whatever it is. I know here in Northeast Florida, when I moved in, I had no idea what a CDD was. I mean, I don't think my agent did either, be honest with you, because it wasn't until I moved in and then realized it. And then I got on the board. And when I was nominated to the board, I still didn't know what it was. But after 11 years, I figured it out. Right. There's these little things that every community, every region, state, whatever, has that you need to know, but that these agents are going to tell you. But when you start forming those relationships, they're going to reach out to you when there's opportunities. There could be a great hey man, you need to go to this lunch and learn. There's this thing going on. They're going to start feeding into you is a value, because I think one of the things about real estate agents and people in the real estate, we all want to reach out and help. So tell them about that great restaurant or coffee shop, right, that you were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Going, we want to tell them about those things. But as other real estate agents, hey, what's the best title company? Right. Who's the best local lender, or whatever it is. You have those conversations with those agents, and your learning curve and confidence level in where you're at, because you're on totally new turf. So you're not so confident because you don't necessarily know where everything is. If I make a right-hand turn, where's this going to lead me? You don't know. But if there's more information you can gather, the more confident, more professionalism, the faster you're going to get over that learning curve hump.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and you nailed it, right? I mean, it's the education and the confidence. The more you know about your topic, the more confident you are speaking about it, and that comes across very clearly to your client and anyone you're talking to. So that's why I feel like getting out and educating yourself, not sitting on the computer watching YouTube videos, or scrolling the MLS to try to learn the market that way. Like, get out, boots on the ground.
Yeah.
Learning the little things, like you said, in Colorado, like I've been told that you should really seek a south facing driveway, because it gets more sun. So the sun will melt the snow and you don't have to worry about shoveling snow from your driveway. That's a good tip.
Yes.
I'm glad I got that tip. Right. So this weekend when we go house hunting, I'm going to be paying attention to which direction these houses face.
Yeah.
My lender, she's in all 50 states, so I don't have to worry about finding a new lender. But my insurance broker that I've worked with for almost 15 years, she does not do insurance in Colorado. Mm-hmm. My title company obviously is not in Colorado. So like you said, I've got to build some new relationships to my team built around me, so that when that first client, comes to fruition, I have a solid core team and I know who I'm talking to. I know who I'm going to refer them to. Inspectors and handymen and all those people that I have in my pocket here, I don't have in Colorado. And I think going out and, like I said, the Ohana stuff in conjunction with the digital mayor stuff, I think covers 99% of your stuff. Mm-hmm. You're meeting the locals, you're meeting business owners. You can get referrals to, like, hey, thanks for showing me your shop. Do you know who I should interview for this? Who's the HVAC guy?
Right.
Who, whatever it is you need to learn, ask them. These are local business owners. They will happily refer you to a fellow local business owner. Maybe not if it's competition,
Mhm.
but if it's a different business, they're going to tell you who to call. Towns like that, and that's why I say niche down, because when you get into a smaller city, or even a neighborhood like in Jacksonville, like you may do, like, just south side, or maybe you go just down to Atlantic Beach, or you know people shouldn't be afraid to get into smaller markets and be the expert in that market.
When you realize I think one thing we don't realize is the amount of homes, and then there's only how many homes can you actually sell or represent a buyer in any given year, right? You
Yeah.
can only write so many loans, talk to so many people in a given day. I mean, you can wear yourself out. And when I was younger, there's certainly I had more gusto to sit there and wasn't married and just stay there and hope the phone rang again and take another app or whatever. But when you really start to calculate, I think it was Krista Mashore. She mentioned, she works like two or three, four neighborhoods around. Of course, they're in California and they're high dollar neighborhoods, but she just
Mhm.
pounds those neighborhoods. She is like
Yep.
the expert, and
Yep.
I think her brother runs her actual real estate side because she's doing more training now. But there's enough homes in there that if she sells a number of those, and then those people are going to refer people outside of those neighborhoods. So when you
Yeah.
become the expert in their neighborhood, it doesn't mean they're going to say, "Well, she's the expert here." They won't be able to help 3 miles down the road because that
It's
no, they start referring you out. Next thing you know, you are that person. I want to kind of finish up with you here in a few minutes because I think the one thing that when someone listens to your plan is like, oh man, Rick, that's a lot of video content, and one, I'm not, not, you know, an expert on videos. Or obviously, I see you pop up on Instagram. You're doing your interviews and stuff. We kind of have the be able to gift and gab and go on the go and make up good questions and so forth to make it go through. It's the post production part. You can find people to do that if you want to do it yourself, which I have done many times on the podcast and cutting reels, and
Mhm.
you learn how CapCut works and if you're going to do the voiceover. But there's a lot of inexpensive people out there. In my recommendation, everyone reach out to someone like myself or Rick that is doing a lot of content and ask them what they're doing and who they're using. Now, there are some expensive ones out there, but it's probably because the technology is what has happened. And I'm sure you've seen this in cutting reels and so forth. The AI technology is leaps and bounds. It's made it very difficult for people in the States to make
Mhm.
money unless they charge you a lot per reel. Where my show is now being done by a gentleman in the Philippines. He is awesome. He actually does it better than the people here in the States that I had. He gets it back that much quicker. Of course, he's on the other side of the earth, so he's operating at a different time than I am. But man, his response, and if there's a mistake, he corrects it, or the reels are just better. I'm getting more the additional content that I get with the transcripts and the blogs and stuff. He is spot on with it, and he's half as much as what I would have spending here in the States, because that company didn't want to do it any longer. So they
Yeah.
actually referred me to the gentleman in the Philippines. I'm like, I wish I had this guy the whole time. So
Yeah.
uh, tell us a little bit about your experience there. But my recommendation is to leave it and then hand it off to Rick. Is ask someone who's doing a lot of content. How are they doing it? I guarantee you they're not sitting down and editing all their stuff. They may do some things, but they don't do all the things. And to make this content, and then it's so repurposeful. And I would recommend to everyone, drop everything you do into YouTube. Put everything into YouTube with an address and everything in there. I don't care if someone's 3 years from now and they're searching that neighborhood, that's going to come up with your video. But go ahead. Tell us a little about how.
Yeah. So, well, as far as the back end of it, again, on these home tours, the primary place where putting these is on TikTok.
Hmm.
And again, it's because of the aggressiveness of the algorithm. So only editing I do is I put the title on the screen of something, some kind of a visual hook that will maybe get them to stop scrolling and watch the video. I do the auto captions in CapCut, and then I do the voiceover in CapCut too, and that's all I do. So again, with very minimal editing in
Very
CapCut on the
authentic.
phone.
It's a very authentic video. It's real.
Yeah,
That's what they keep telling everybody. That's what social
yeah.
media wants.
Sharon,
They want
Sharon says
authentic.
the jankier the better.
Mhm.
If you make it look like it's just, something that you didn't sit down and script and get all dolled up for and have all this production, if it looks like you're a realtor who's knowledgeable, who's showing a house and telling them the things that they can't see in the pictures in the video, right? Tell them about the builder. Tell them that the grocery store is just a mile down the road. Tell them that the dog park is across the street. Tell them all the little things that you as a homeowner, and like I said, me going on this house hunting this weekend and doing a lot of research from out of state myself, even as a realtor of 15 years, I'm like, like, holy crap, like this is harder than I thought it was to find good information.
Mhm.
One of the things that I've realized is I wish everyone would do floor plans on all of their listing photos, because so many times I look at the pictures, and even if they have a video, me and my wife are sitting there like, wait, where's the laundry room? Is that on the upstairs or is that in the basement? Like, where was that other bathroom? Which one is that? And you don't know from the photos as you're flipping through. You see it's pretty, but you have no idea where it is. And so then when you look at a floor plan, you're like, oh, okay, that makes sense. So floor plans for me are amazing right now. I'm loving the houses that have the floor plans.
But let me ask you,
Um,
could you give too much information that someone actually makes a decision? Because I mean, part of it is marketing, and you want to attract them to hopefully, want to see this particular house or maybe work with you because you're honest and authentic. Something in that video is going to hopefully bring them to you in one way, shape, or form. But if you give them too much information, they may say, "Oh, that house is not for me," and just cut the whole thing out.
Yeah, no. Well, so and this is where you may have two schools of thought.
Hmm.
My intention for doing these videos is brand. It's giving me useful content, educational content, content that somebody who's looking to move to this area will find useful, right? But it's really an excuse to get this ugly mug and my brand in front of people on a daily basis. It's just an excuse. Um, are you familiar with Sharon's Deal of the Week system that he does with emails?
No.
So you should get Sharon on the show. He's amazing.
How do you spell
But
his name? Sharon, just like it
yeah,
sounds.
Sharran,
RRAN. Okay.
Srivatsa. He's the president of Real. You can't
Oh,
help but find him. But he does amazing coaching and teaching. It's all for free. He gives everything away for free. He's like Gary V on steroids.
well, if you want to make
Um,
the introduction, since he actually
yeah,
reached out
for
to you,
sure,
you have that contact. I would certainly think
100%.
that would be a great booster for the show. Yeah.
So he does this deal of the week strategy where he sends one email a week to the entire database, and it's a text based email, no pictures, no links, no videos, no nothing, just text, and it'll be a Freeport deal of the week, and then there's maybe one or two sentences about the place, and then there's 3 bullet points about the neighborhood, 3 bullet points about the house, the price, reply if you want more details.
So
And
not
then
even like a
below,
picture of the front of the house or anything. You just
nothing, nothing.
huh.
And then at the bottom, he has what he calls his super signature, which is where he has links to either coaching videos or other things that he has done that could help you, right? That deal of the week video is just an excuse to send the super signature, because the intent is to get you to click on one of those programs and get you into his ecosystem, right?
Hmm.
And then he'll be able to either I don't know, attract you to Real, sell you some coaching or whatever else it is he's doing, maybe hand you off to a partner company, something. But he's trying to give you something of value so that you see his super signature once a week, every single week until you die, and he gets you to click on something. And so I'm approaching these Ohana videos in kind of the same way, where my video is the email, and I'm putting it out there every day, and it's just me offering information and helping you with, hey, check out this amazing home by this builder. Here's the listing agent. Here's the neighborhood. Here's all the information. Give you everything, not asking you to call me. Just at the end of my videos, I just say, like, hey, thanks for touring. We'll see you on the next video. That's it. No, call me. I don't even put my phone number out there. If anything's linked, it's to the listing agent. I just want them to see me as this guy like Gary Vee giving, because I'm new.
Right.
I'm not established enough to ask yet. I've got to give, and build trust first. And then maybe I can ask a little bit later. But right now, it's just an excuse to get my face, my name, my brand out to people who are interested in Colorado.
Well, I think what we talked about here is going to open some minds. Hopefully, there's some that have listened, that are new. One of the things I do here is I sponsor a breakfast at a new, pre-licensing class at a local school here, and
Nice.
this is a great episode for every one of them to listen to. It's a way it may, as Rick and I know, this doesn't work if you're not going to do the videos like Rick is doing. You don't have the confidence just to go out there and video yourself winging it and talking to an agent, or if you can't walk through a house there just doing a raw video as if you were doing the video.
It's just like the showing.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't be a real estate agent. Yeah. But
Yeah.
I think and we can dress it up and, get an editor, whatever. But I think people need to realize the more real you are, like, just being you are going to, people are going to be like, oh, there's a cool person out there. Rick and I there's some really beautiful women in this industry. And should they put themselves on the front of their Instagram, thing? So when someone sees, people will stop and they're going to listen to it because they're attractive. That's just what attractive people do. That's why they advertise. They use them for advertisements and so forth. You've got to find, that was the one question. Okay. I brought myself back to the question for you. I think people get hung up on the hook.
Mm-hmm.
Give me an example, maybe something you've used recently, at the beginning to, I think TikTok says, you got to get them in the first, 3 seconds or something, to get them to listen to the rest of the 30, 40-second reel that you might have. What are some of the things you do in the real estate industry to get that initial hook to get them to watch the rest of the video?
I think, well, you can focus sometimes, I think, too much on the hooks. Like I said, I use what Roland taught me as a visual hook, right? Which is the text on front of the video. So as they're scrolling, or if they get to my page and they see all my videos, they'll see this one is about this with a price point. So they'll know what that video is about. And if they want to see it, they can click on it. Mm-hmm. During the scroll, when it just does the start of the video, I think, the easiest way to get attention on these videos is to focus on the house itself. So the type of house that you're doing, we talked at the beginning about, go to neighborhoods, go to builders that are, maybe the market and the type of home that you want to sell. So whether that's a price point, if you're going to try to be in the luxury $1 million plus homes, maybe you focus on the really beautiful, viewer worthy homes. Don't go and look at the cookie cutter homes that are in the lower price point that, everyone knows what they look like. D.R. Horton homes are D.R. Horton homes, no matter where they build them, right? So the one I just posted yesterday was a nice $7.5 million custom home by Ben Giles on 30A that has 100 feet of waterfront access. You can mention that. Like, hey, if you ever, dreamt of owning a multi-million-dollar custom home with deeded access on 30A, you got to stay and check out this video for the end. Yeah. So that's the first thing I say. So it's got nothing to do with the video. The video is panning past the listing. I mean, the for sale sign, and I'm mentioning that it's listed by Jonathan Spears of the Spears Group with Compass, I'll say all that in the video, but the hook is going to be, why am I here? Why this house? And why do you need to
Right.
watch?
Well, I
And then
think
you can get into,
um, in sales, if you're doing a commercial or whatever, or you're you're presenting in front of a group, you want to catch them, and if you really sit down, even if it is one of those cookie cutter homes that you're going to go to this open house and walk around and do the video, there's something you could say about it. Maybe, man, are you looking to move into X Colorado? Man, what a great neighborhood. There's something sensational that you could say. You just got to find it, whatever it is.
well,
Maybe it's, I mean, maybe it's, the decor of
you
the
can do
house
what
is
they call
great.
the dog whistle, right? You use the dog whistle. You start off the video with, if you're looking to move to Castle Rock this year, this video is for you, And so
Yeah,
if anyone is thinking about Castle Rock, you get their attention right away.
exactly.
Um, but
Exactly.
I think if we want to take just a second and talk about things you probably shouldn't do on the video, and it's talk about yourself,
Hmm.
because until there's a relationship formed with them feeling like you know what you're doing, that they like your personality, that they can trust you as a realtor, they don't care what your name is, what brokerage you work with, what your phone number is, because they're not calling you. Like, you don't need to do the whole, hi, my name is Rick Gonzalez, and I'm a real, you don't even just stop with that
Are you
intro.
putting those into the caption? Your contact information at all? I mean, you're not mentioning it in the video because, like I said, people, yeah, they're watching the video, they want to know about the house or whatever it is.
Mhm.
But they say, hey, this guy looks pretty good. I'd like to go see that house. Are you putting it in a caption where they can go down and get your phone number?
No, I mean, it's, if they really want to reach out to you,
Well, once you
whatever
can find your
platform
channel, you
they're
just got to
on,
click on your name on the thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's usually a link in the bio on every platform. There's some kind of a message system in every platform.
Hmm.
I think, that initial, oh, if they just DM my, or even sometimes it's just in the comment, oh, we're moving to Castle Rock this year. This is great. Thank you. Well, obviously, I'm going to respond.
Right.
And so you start the conversation. So I think if the focus can be on me learning and then sharing all of that information with the public, I win.
I notice a lot of
It doesn't
guys
have to be much more complicated than that.
in different, it doesn't necessarily have to be real estate, but just do you hey, if you thought this video was beneficial as a close, you thought this video is beneficial, please like me, make a comment. Would you suggest something like that as a close to the video?
Um, I don't subscribe to a lot of the technical parts of video creation where
Hmm.
you try to get the like or the subscribe. I know when I see that in a video, it never compels me to like or subscribe.
And you may
What
not have liked
gets
it.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
anytime I subscribe to someone on YouTube, or if I follow them on TikTok or a platform, it's because there was something they said or something they did that I'm like, man, I really like this guy.
Right.
I follow a lot of chefs. I love watching cooking content. And so when I meet someone who either cooks like the food that I want to eat, or something, I'm like, man, I like this guy. I'll follow him. But it usually takes quite a few videos,
Right.
and it's never because they tell you to subscribe or follow. It's always because I've watched enough content, and this is where the consistency comes in, right?
Yep.
If you do one tour and stop, they haven't learned enough about you to know if they like you or trust you yet.
Right.
So if you can go out and do a video, Roland has been doing TikTok for the year. Not only has he built a following on TikTok big enough where he's making money from TikTok as a creator, but now he gets majority of his business directly from TikTok. And it's just, you have to have that consistency of a video every day so that they can decide if they like you or not.
That's Obviously, like I said, this is a great show for the beginning of the year because you can decide to do that right now. You decide to do that, go visit a two or three, four open houses tomorrow, right around you. If you want, take an hour or two out of your Saturday. If you don't have any showings, you don't have any buyers, you're going to run around, you don't have an open house, you can sit, you could start this tomorrow. Um,
Yep.
I mean, this is really good. In I think I like your pull back my thought here. You have to see, they have to see you a number of times. And when you were saying that, I was thinking of things that I see pop up, on Instagram. I don't, I haven't spent much time on a TikTok. I kind of laugh at some of the, obviously the political stuff, these open forums that they have and the people are talking. I like to listen and humor myself sometimes. But you're right. If I'm on Instagram or whatever, and it's not somebody that I already know or like obviously if there's a real estate agent in Northeast Florida, I'm going to like them and follow them, right? Because that's why I'm in the business. But if
Mm.
it's something else, not necessarily an agent in my area or just some other content that's not related, you have to see them 3 or 4 times. Actually makes you. I can give you an example for anyone listening right now. My son's in playing high school basketball. We're working on that, and I coach and so forth. So I'm getting a lot of these instructional videos from all these coaches that are putting out content. Here's a play, here's a training, here's how to run a practice situation, whatever it is. They're just putting out content. But you're right. Until I seen them 3 or 4 times, like, man, this guy's had 3 or 4 ideas that I've stopped. Maybe I've shared already. I might have shared it with somebody else going, hey, man, check this out. And then all of a sudden, you're like, I'm going to go ahead and like him because I want to see more of what he's doing. And you've got to, it might be 10 times, especially if you're putting out a lot of content, but
Yeah.
finally you close the door on them, get them to
Yeah.
follow you.
And sometimes it's you see the first one, right? You see the first one comes in your feed and you're like, dude, I really like that video. And maybe you click on their profile to see what else they've created. And then you get into it, and that's why you do the visual hook on your videos. But if you've only done 2 videos, like, it's gonna take time, right? And I think that the reason why I believe that this will work is because I've tried to remove as much friction, as many excuses as possible. If you don't want to be on camera, you don't have to be on camera. This is literally a walkthrough video with your phone. The only time you see me is if I'm in the bathroom looking in the mirror, and I usually give a little wave to the camera when I'm in the mirror. That's it. Other than that, I'm not on camera. So there's no fear of being on camera. The voiceover, it's just your voice, but you're doing it later. So, like me, I'm probably about 20 pounds overweight right now. And walking through a house, if there's stairs, I'm gonna be like, okay, guys, and look at that amazing view. Like, nobody wants to
Yeah,
hear that.
no.
So you're sitting down in your office, in your comfy, safe place. You can have a script on the screen. You can pull up the MLS sheet. Like, you can do the voiceover as many times as you need to be happy with it, but it's only 6 to 8 minutes. And then once you've done the voiceover, just post it and let it go. I haven't even looked at the video I posted yesterday, even though it's an absolutely stunning home. I don't know. I don't want to look at it and see, like, does it have thousands of views? Does it have like 30 views? I don't know. Doesn't matter because I'm not trying to sell that house. Now, if someone wants to buy it, I'll happily represent them.
Right.
But my goal is not to sell that house. My goal is to put me in front of people so people can learn me.
Yeah.
And just do that over and over again. And like I said, go follow my buddy Roland Osage. As Roland, last name is Osage.
Mm-hmm.
He's on TikTok. He's on Instagram. He also does a podcast out in the Bay Area. But his videos are, and he hopefully he won't be mad at this. They're underwhelming. There's, my buddy Brad McCallum in Canada does amazing cinematic quality property tours that are stunning. They're Hollywood ready. Roland's videos it's Roland, and he has a tone that's not very exciting, but it's just, he's just showing you the house and he is crushing it. So anyone listening, please understand, you don't have to be overly excitable. You don't have to be this fake persona. You need to be, like Tracy said earlier, you need to be you. And then you just need to provide the information, provide valuable information, educate the audience on whatever it is you're showing them, and then just do that a lot. And I promise you, what you said earlier, Tracy, like how many homes do you really need to sell? Like for me, my goal is 36 every year. If I sell 36, I'm making more than enough money. I'm hitting elite. I'm getting my stocks. I'm checking all of my boxes if I do 36 a year.
Right.
In my neighborhood here in Hammock Bay, way more than enough homes for me to do 36 a year. I don't need to be the best known agent in my entire state of Florida. My neighborhood is big enough.
Yes.
So niche down, be the expert, and share all of that information on video. And that's where the gold is. You know, don't share it in the meetings with all the other agents so they can make the video. Make the video.
Right.
So
Get
yeah.
out and do it. But I guess my going to close here. And anyone they need help, contact me. Rick's on Instagram as well. Obviously, TikTok is where he's treading. Reach out. We'll gladly share some of those. You know, how can you get a video edited if you don't know how to do it? I will tell you this: go on YouTube. It'll tell you everything. Go YouTube how to edit a CapCut video. It's not that difficult, but there are people out there that will do it for you. But don't let that stop you from actually doing it.
Yeah. And if you're worried about the edit and the voiceover, just record the audio as you're walking through. Just take your time.
Mm-hmm.
Again, the reason why I love TikTok for this is because it gives you up to 10 minutes to do the video. Reels on Instagram, YouTube, shorts, they don't give you that much time. It's like 60, 90 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
That's you're running through a house. TikTok gives you time to actually walk through, explain things, show things that you would probably point out to your buyer if they were there with you. Hey, look at this countertop. This is not granite. This is some kind of tumbled stone or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that they can't easily see from the photos or read in the description, tell them about it. And I think sometimes that just takes a little bit longer. So
Yeah.
you can
I
probably do
think
the same thing.
there's so much creativity. If you're into creativity, that you can do a whole video driving up to the house. You know.
Yeah. And that's the other thing too. Like if you ever get an agent that says, no, I really don't want you to do the video, it's not a wasted trip. You can sit outside of the house and record a video like, hey, I just toured this great home that's on the market in such and such neighborhood. You know, if you're looking to move here, give me a call. You could still do a piece of content that gets your name out there. And remember, that's really the goal, is just for you to learn and then you to share your expertise with your audience. And if you can't show the inside of the house, don't let that stop you either. One quick tip I will share before we leave, Tracy.
Yeah.
There's another friend of mine. His name is Raj, R-A-J. He's in Texas. He does these same types of walkthroughs, but he does the long form for YouTube. I know you love YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't even record the video. He has a videographer go out and shoot walkthrough videos of all of these new model homes, because Texas has a lot of new construction. So he goes out and shoots all the model homes, drops it in a Google Drive for Raj, and then Raj does the voiceover and posts it to YouTube. And he also is crushing, doing the same type of video. He's not in the video. He doesn't even shoot the video. All he does is he just edits the voiceover and posts it. So again, if you're afraid to be on camera, video can still help you grow your business.
Yeah. I would dig into AI because there's a lot of ways to get around being on camera now, and they're creating new ones every day. That's a solid tip right there. You know, it's like you said, go out, just shoot the video, do the voiceover. You know, if you you want a thumbnail on it, there's caricatures. If you don't want yourself on there's people who make some interesting caricatures that make you look, you know, funny, exciting, professional, whatever you want it to look like. They can make you look like that. And
well, you know, and I think if you're doing those tour type videos, I think that, you know, the thumbnail should be the house, right? That's the star of the show, is the house. You know, be the expert in those builders, be the expert in those communities, be the expert in your city. And show that expertise as you're talking to your audience. You don't need flames, and you don't have to do the whole Mr. Beast thumbnails on every video. Like you can keep it simple with the house, maybe the builder and the price point, and trust me, Raj Sahu on YouTube, he's crushing it. And again, his videos are very unimpressive, but super, super effective.
Would you email me the names of everyone you've mentioned? Because that way I can put them, make sure they're in the show notes, and we're,
Yep,
we're, we're tagging
100%.
them on there and that kind of thing. This is really great show to kick off the year. Uh, Real vision. I mean, all of us are being told video, 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 and not everybody is. I think one thing Rick and I have in common is we find things we like to do. Rick's had a podcast before. We like doing the little interviews. So we find ways to make that part of our business and what we do. And then and it produces more content than you could ever imagine. And now
Yep.
you can fill those buckets. And if you don't know how to take that raw content and put it, there are people that will do that for you, and we can help you find it. There go my timer and my lights went out. But Rick, I appreciate you coming on.
Thanks, Tracy. I appreciate you.
I'll see you on the 17th.